As we told you from the top, one of the areas of focus for us today is the developing situation around the delineation of wards and electoral units in Warri Federal Constituency in Delta State by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The component ethnic groups in Warri have been expressing their feelings about it, sometimes a bit too strongly. But for further conversation around it, we're now being joined here by two leaders of thought of Urhobo extraction. Chief Ijabor Slyvester, a politician, businessman, and the immediate past leader of the Warri South Legislative Assembly, accompanied with Himwere Ejiro, who is a medical doctor, and Urhobo historical archivist and activist, as well as researcher on Warri Township and Urhobo colonial history. Good morning, gentlemen. Good to have you join us in the studio today, and thanks for taking time to be patient with us, but good to have you.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right, so Chief, let me start with you. There's a Supreme Court judgment. INEC says it's complying, but it looks like there are so many groups and interests, trying to ensure that maybe this is not what will happen. First, give us a peep into what led to all of this, because I know that this is not a fresh thing from the, I believe, in 1997, 2003, different times, it's been back and forth. How did we get here, and do you think that the Supreme Court judgment this time around will put an end to the tussle?
Well, Warri is a complicated place. I usually call it Nigeria's Palestine.
Nigeria?
Palestine.
Oh, really?
It's as tough as that. We got to this point because in the past, the way the wards were delineated, they were like deliberately delineated to shortchange some section of the Warri town, the Warri area, the Warri Federal Constituency. At the time, there was the 10-ward structure, and in that structure, the Itsekiris have 8, while the Olu of Warri has 2. And if you know Warri Metropolis, which is actually the primary concern of the Urhobos, two sets of persons
but there are 3 local government areas involved.
Yes, the federal constituency. Warri South, Warri Southwest, Warri North. We, the Urhobos, are in Warri South, majorly in Warri South. Then, not just Warri South, but the township itself, because Warri is comprised of mainland and the riverside, the river area, the sea.
I'm going to have to interrupt you there. We just have a little bit of a technical glitch, but I'd like to come to our other guest. If you could just answer that question. He already started. We want to know what your thoughts are on
that's
it.
Dr. Ejiro, isn't
Dr.
it?
Ejiro, yes.
Yeah, the INEC, the Supreme Court ordered. It is the Supreme Court that gave the order, not INEC. It's as a result of the fallout of the foundational problem of Warri. Warri problem, which, as you have rightly said, which heightened between 1997 and 2002, the problem was actually created by the British. In 1891, when the British came, there was no place called Warri Township. And so the British took a land called Ogbijo, a settlement called Ogbijo, an Ijaws village, Agbasa, an Urhobo village, Okere, a partly Urhobo and Itsekiris settlement, and grouped them together and call it Warri. Just like today, in building Abuja, you have Gwagwalada, Maitama, different settlements. These are different ethnic group, and you now place it on one place and you call the whole city a unity, making it look as if it's a unity. And now the desire of these 3 tribes to undermine one another politically is the result of all these crises. Each of them wants to dominate. Much more when government gave the title of the entire continuum, that is the unity of all the different villages, Warri, and gave a title, Olu of Warri, who is the monarch of the Itsekiri people. He is just like the Oba of Lagos. This is Lagos State. But the Olu is using it as an advantage to claim that he is the owner of the whole place and trying to justify it politically. Now, why should the owner of Warri be afraid that wards are about to be delineated in his constituency? It's a happy thing. It happened 30 years ago. Population dynamics have increased. So, if they are the people that are afraid, it shows that they have something to hide. Just as when they wanted to create a Delta State, the Olu and his people said they don't want Warri to be the capital of Delta State. How can a king of a city reject that he does not want the township in which he claimed to be the overlord to be the capital of the state? So you should know that there's something to hide. And when the matter went to the Supreme Court, the Ijaws that went to Supreme Court were able to prove what the Itsekiris were trying to hide. And the Supreme Court haven't seen everything, said, INEC, go back and do the thing again. They on their own said they have another judgment returning them. Warri South has 12 wards. And they said they have a judgment that Warri South should return back to 10 wards. People should be happy when having 12 wards. So it means there's something to hide. Anyway, they are angry that INEC did not obey that judgment. A judgment must have content. INEC will read the body language of the judgment. The argument in that judgment was that INEC did not wait up to 10 years before INEC increased the ward to 12 wards. And the appeal court agreed with them. But unfortunately, before the judgment came out, it was 14 years. So how could INEC obey it again? You know, they will not come here to tell you that. They want to give INEC a bad name to hang it. But INEC, what is the business of INEC with Warri when the whole of Nigeria is there? INEC read the judgment. When they won at the court of it's a federal high court, INEC filed an appeal and obtained for stay of execution. INEC could not obey the judgment that is appealed against. Even when they went to court again, the court told them, what you are supposed to do is to file contempt proceedings against INEC. And the court dismissed that don't come here that INEC must obey the judgment. File contempt, but they know that INEC cannot obey the judgment because the time has overtaken the judgment. And a superior judgment of the Supreme Court has come to this place. You tell people that you own Warri and you bring up court judgment. This is the latest court judgment here, in which government in that 1997, 2002 set up commission and said, to stop this problem, let each tribe in Warri have their own king. They created 2 kings for the Urhobos, created 1 king for the Ijaws, and then the Olu of Warri, they let it remain. And what happened was that the Itsekiris challenged the matter for 30 years. The judgment came out last year, and the court dismissed the case that you can only rule over your people. You cannot rule over another tribe. It was a colonial arrangement there to make indirect rule easy so that they can collect their taxes easily. You are not the overlord of Agbara. You are not the overlord of Ogunu. You are not the overlord of Ijabor. You are not the overlord of Urhobos. You are not the overlord of Ogbijo. Why not be contented with you? Even in your own tribe, your own people took you to court in Buangwe, and they say you're not even the overlord of Buangwe. Why not be contented that let us leave it? Why not face reality? Why take us back to colonial time of 1914 when Doruma was using indirect rule and his position to grab people's land? So that's just the position. There's nothing.
I would like to come to you, sir, because I know you already answered part of that question. But some argue that the delineation process has not adequately considered the historical peculiarities of the Warri region. Now, if we talk about this current relation process, whether it's exacerbate or if it alleviates historical tensions and conflicts in Warri, why do you think that there are persistent conflicts between court judgments, tribunal reports, and the implementations of these decisions?
Okay, I think if you look at the court judgments, especially the ones that took place during the colonial eras, the colonial government there were not actually interested in justice. They were only interested in governance, in convenience, and anything that would threaten governance, that would threaten collection of taxes and what have you, are fronted by the colonial masters. When they went to those cases, they were not. If you go through those cases, you discover that nobody, the Itsekiris did not even state their history, how they got to that place. The first land that was ever sold in the whole of Warri Township was sold by an Urhobo man, Shifigbi, in 1894. When the British came, they made Urhobos in Warri Township. In 1893, the British signed treaties of protection. The documents are, they should be there. We can leave them with you if you want, before we leave. They signed treaties of protections in 1894 with Ogunu. with Agbasa, with Ijabor. I'm from Ijabor. With Igbudu, 4. The Agbasa or the Agbara people, but corruptly called Agbasa, we have 7 communities, 2 in Warri Township and 2 in the river area, and I'm from one of those communities. And out of these 5 in the township, the Itsekiris went into litigation with 2. And what was the outcome of that? That the Olu was the owner of all the lands in Warri, and others are tenants, and is overlord. You see that upon the basis of that overlordship claim lies the Itsekiris claim for ownership in Warri. But I can tell you, because with subsequent tribunal of inquiries are actually meant to correct certain ills and injustices in court pronouncements. That's what they are, because if those court pronouncements were valid, we actually were justiciable. In the first place, you will not have people agitating and going to and making problem and asking the government setting up inquiries to look at those judgments again. Like saying, let's all look at those judgments again. Let's see what is the cause of all of this problem. All the tribunal of inquiries that have been set up in Warri, I've always recommended one thing: separate these people, give them their separate local governments, because events, evidences on ground shows that these people are different persons that they cannot be under the Olu. It's not possible. The first people that challenged the Olu of Warlordship were the Sapele people, because a certain Donuma was the one who signed those leases for government, for the colonial masters. They signed that of Warri, signed of Sapele, signed Kwale. And so by virtue of that man signing those leases, Itsekiris are claiming that those lands belong to them. He's an Itsekiri man, but he was an appointee of the government who got favor from the colonial masters when he provided 29 slaves and a canoe to ferry one colonial master called a Galloway to Lagos, when other nobles of Itsekiri nation refused, because they said they are slaves. When they get to Lagos, they will run away. So upon that favor that he did to the colonial masters, they favored him so much. He was a lord of the manor. He was loved to himself. Nobody could challenge him, including the Itsekiris themselves. He usurped the Itsekiri royalties rule, claimed to be the Olu, took whatever rights.
But Chief Sylvester, why are we making this a case like like a traditional chieftaincy issue? I think
because that is the basis. That's where the basis is that we own this place solely. The rest of you are tenants. Therefore, if any word is to be created,
that's part of the problem, isn't it?
It is the cause of the problem. Look, you are telling me that you are the owner of the house, that I'm a tenant in your house. So whatever that will happen in that house must be according to your dictate, because you are the landlord. Let us suppose that we are tenants, which I don't ever admit to anyway. We've been there for more than 500 years. When British came, they met us. They went to treaties of protection with us. Nobody queried it. Nobody questioned it. We sold the first land ever in that place. Nobody queried. It took the white man 26 years later to come and start to undo those leases for administrative purposes. And ever since, because of claim of superiority over the other tribes, any government opportunity that comes to Warri must be dictated by our brothers and our neighbors. That is the crux of the matter. That is the beginning of the whole thing. But times have changed. Let us assume that you have an ancient kingdom, fine. Your kingdom is pristine, is royal, fine. No problem. Nobody's ever arguing that. But you are the king of your people. We have our own kings too. Government is not stupid. Government saw all of this and said, let us create kings. Let these people go their separate way. See, the solution to our problem will be just creating local governments for the 3 tribes. Everybody mind your area. We all know our areas
of influence. You think that will solve it?
That will solve it permanently. We all have our areas of influence. The first house I ever built in Warri, I built on the land I inherited from time immemorial. I didn't take permission from anybody. But Itsekiris are saying that we took permission from them to stay on the land where we are staying, to occupy where we are occupying right now. Therefore, we are eternally their tenants. And we are saying no. Subsequent court judgments have proven that to be otherwise. Please just give me this. A community of an Urhobo community.
Yes.
You know, there are 2 sets of Urhobos in that Warri.
2 sets?
Yes. Two stops. Urhobo Kingdom and the Agbara Kingdom. I'm of the Agbara Kingdom. And we occupy the larger part of the township. One of the communities of Agbara Kingdom, called Ogunu, went into litigation with the Itsekiri Communal Land Trust, the Olu of Warri, and the family, the Agbeje family, the only family of Ugbangwe. Since 1968, that was the year I was born. That case just ended 2022. These are the documents. For claim of title over a land that Shell British Petroleum took to site their logistic base and house for their staff. The largest ones are more than 200 acres, so bigger than some communities. And then they went to litigation, almost 52 years. The longest judicial case in Nigerian history. 52 years. It eventually came to an end not long ago. Where the Itsekiris surrender title to the Ogun people, saying they own their lands. It is here. After that, Mr. Lorry and the Itsekiri Communal Land Trust that has been banned, that has been moribund for some time, went back to court to challenge it. The case was thrown out for lack of judicial prosecution.
Was this at the High Court?
Yes, at the High Court in Warri.
Sorry, I'd like to take it to Dr. Ijabor. I'd like to bring it back to you here. Because I want to know, do you believe that the government is doing enough to protect the Urhobos and their claims? Do you believe that your governor and the government in general, the federal government, are doing enough to protect your claim?
No, they are not. And it's actually a problem created by the government, and the government is supposed to. You know, sometimes it will happen that two truths will clash. The British, when they came to our shores, signed treaties with each of the head of the community. They signed treaty with the Lagos Dozumu in 1861, and they signed treaty with the Oba of Benin in 1892 about Varame. When I went to the National Archive in Ibadan, I saw that the Agbasa Treaty was in the same file with the Dozulmi Treaty and the same file with the Overame Treaty. It means that they were all equal. Now, as at when Don Numa, the political agent, leased Agbasa land on behalf of the British in 1892, no Agbasa man was educated. And so when they went to challenge the lease, the British used the doctrine of overlordship to rule the case. You know, Supreme Courts and different courts use principle. Here, we are accustomed to the first person to settle on the land owns the land. But in England, where the British came from, the overlord, Her Royal Majesty, or His Majesty is the owner of all land. And that was what, by the Statute of General Application, they applied it to the colonies. They were now using the kings to be the owner of every land. And so, based on that judgment, they said the Olu, being the only king in that area, was the overlord of the lands in the whole environment. But by 1960, when we had independence, our judges now started taking a different dimension. They are now using first settlement, the people that first settled in the land. And that's the reason for the clashes that we're saying. And that's the reason for the clashes that we are saying. We are now seeing a situation whereby post-independence court judgment are conflicting with colonial judgment. And so when the government set up Commission of Inquiry in 2002, the Agbasa people came with the treaty. Now the treaty is a document of truth. At first, when the Itsekiris saw it, they didn't believe. They claimed it was a forgery. The federal government had to send people to the British Colonial Archives, and the British Colonial Archives authenticated it. In fact, it was a treaty that the government acted upon to create kings, and the judgment of Idudu versus Okumagba that to create kings for the people. Now here, we are faced with a very difficult situation. They had a judgment, a colonial judgment, that puts the overlordship of the Olu over their land. At the same time, there is another colonial document which says that the Agbasa people signed a treaty as the owners of their land. And government saying the whole thing, the lands that the Itsekiri people won that claim to have overlordship, by the Land Use Act of 1978, government dissolved it and vested the title on the state governor. So, technically or practically, the Olu does not even have overlordship, even those lands anymore, because for now, they are property of the Delta State government. Then the unlitigated lands, they now gave it to the individual private owners, and they gave them their individual king. But there is something that is still bothering us, the Urhobo. Now, like I told you, before 1890, there was nothing like Warri. There was Agbasa, there was Okere, there was Ogbijo. You now put all of them together as Warri. The man is bearing the title Olu of Warri, which erroneously is giving him that ego. And other people to feel. I don't think we should go. You should go there. Let's stay with the focus. But if you don't know the root of the problem, if we shy away from it, if we are afraid, and if we shy away from it, then the problem will continue to bite. If The problem is that you have a kind of boil on your testes and you need to milk it. You milk it. I'm here. Everybody's listening. So if government is saying, if we have said before that take the title to Olu of Itsekiris, which accurately depicts who he is because he rules over the Itsekiris people. Government said no. We are going to take it as Olu of Warri because the Warri we are referring to is not this Warri township.
My point, sir, with due respect, Dr. Ejiro, is that we know the context to this, but there is a judgment already. And INEC says it will comply. Do you have a problem with that?
No, we don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
We are only here to correct those who said they have a problem with that. And that before the Supreme Court...
But they're not making any headway in the courts anyway.
No. The problem, the process has started, but they're trying to blackmail everyone. Now, we have not come here to complain. Warri South local government have 12 wards, 6 for the Itsekiris, 6 for the Urhobos. But in the political appointment, the chairman is Itsekiris, the commissioner's lord is Itsekiris, the board chairman is Itsekiris. I know who even gave those appointments. It's an Urhobo governor. He did that. We have not come here to complain, say, there will be fire, there will be crisis for doing that. But if it is Itsekiris here, and I believe every day, they will go around on the station that, we are being marginalized in our own home.
Well, you don't know what they will say. Let's bring back Chief Slyvester. I mean, is this also your point? If you are happy as Urhobos with it, even though I think this last judgment was, initiated by an Ijaws man, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Judge Chiminme.
Yes.
I do not have a problem with, after all, I didn't go to court in the first place. Unfortunately, the judgment of the court is binding on me. I just graduated with an LLB in law. I'm here to go to law school. But from the little I've known of law,
I hope it's not because of all these Urhobo Ijaws, Itsekiris that you went to read law.
The average Urhobo man, the average Ijaws man, the average Itsekiris man is a litigant. Because that's why I said Warri is Nigeria's Palestine. We keep struggling for the life of the place. Everybody wants to have a bite, and they want to undo the other person. For me, I really don't want to undo anybody, because by virtue of my birth, my great-grandparents from both father and mother are Itsekiris. My wife is Itsekiris. My children have Itsekiris blood. And I'm not interested in doing them. I just want us to live in peace. Let's just live in peace. It's enough of all of this problem. Like I keep telling my friends, where Itsekiris, I say, look, aren't we tired? How long is this whole thing going to last? How long? For how long are we going to keep fighting and dragging? Because our first cousins were Itsekiris. Not even just were Itsekiris. Because the propensity of marriage between Itsekiris and Urhobo and that of Ijaws is higher on the part of Urhobo and Itsekiris. And so we don't first think of these things. We don't want problems to come to that place. Because of our affiliations, our friendship, the blood is also running me, even if it's distant, I can't deny it. Now I have a wife at home who is Itsekiris, I can't deny that. We just have to live. We don't have a problem with that.
Do you think the judgment is fair?
I think yes. We had actually 6 wards in Warri. Share that piece.
Like Dr.
Share that
Ijaws
piece.
said.
Warri South, please.
Okay.
They just said they were supposed to have a bite of the cake in Warri South. And that was why I feel the judgment actually binds the 3 local governments together that made up the federal constituency. Warri North, Warri Southwest, and Warri South. We didn't go to court. They were the ones that went to court, but it's binding on us. And what do I do? There's nowhere to appeal to. It's a Supreme Court judgment. We just have to live by it. If there were to be another room for appeal, we would have gone there and said, okay, no, don't do this, or stop. We don't have a choice but to obey it. Then in the course of doing that, we also have to organize ourselves. In all of this bulabalo, Charles, complaints, intimidation, threat, blackmail, INEC is actually going ahead with the delineation. They are.
Because it has to be done before the next election, isn't it?
Yes, the INEC is bound. They said they are bound to do this thing. When I in a meeting with them, they said, you people, in fact, they were even they were like yabbing all of us. Your trouble is too much for us in this Nigeria. We will do this thing. Whatever will come out of it, we will wait for it. That you people have too many fictitious communities here. On paper, we came here, we couldn't even find them. That's what Mahmoud said, you must go to that place and physically
you, sir.
Find out whether this community is actually existing. We don't have a problem with it.
Thank you.
And we are not here to threaten anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let INEC do their work and go.
That's fine.
Let's do elections and live in peace and go ahead.
I like that, but I think, Dr. Ejiro, 10 seconds, because we really have to go. Any peaceful word to your cousins in the Itsekiri from the Itsekiri part?
Yeah, I think what I have to say to them is that you are not being oppressed to the Itsekiris. If privileges that you have that belong to others, but has been rightly enjoyed by you, are taken from you and given to the original owners, it is not called oppression, it's called restitution. Whatever that belongs to others, but by privilege you'll be enjoying it, and it's not taken from you and given to the rightful owner, it is called restitution. It is not called oppression. More will come, because a separate local government definitely is the panacea for the Urhobo and the Itsekiri problem. And when that time will come, don't feel oppressed. It is just righting the wrongs.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ejiro. Thank you, Chief, for joining us on the Morning Show.